Trying to add those last few players to your team before Madden 21 drops. Avoid the packs, save the racks, use code CC now, 25% off. Hey, what is going on, Madden family? We are going back through the news that Madden had put out yesterday. This time we're going to be covering offensive changes or upgrades or whatever we're talking about. This is what we're going to be talking about today. On the offensive side of the ball, does that look good? It looks good. Okay. Quarterback and passing improvements, right? They want us to pass more, which is great. I love that. And so they've done a couple things which are really good ideas in concept to what it is. So throwing out of sacks, all QBs will have the ability to throw the ball while being tackled, which is, again, it's fine. The accuracy and power of the pass are dictated by physics. Again, that's fine. If any point the quarterback's arm or shoulder hit during the pass, that can affect pack accuracy, which happens today already. That's the thing already. Throwing out a sack carries risk. The earlier in the throw animation the QB's hit in combination with the strength, the more likely we will fumble. So QB strength is going to be a thing, is what this is telling us, right? That's going to be a thing. So one of those nice big quarterbacks like Cam Newton, sort of. Big Ben, they're actually going to be able to, they're going to have some advantage as well, and that's fine. I have no problem with that, as long as you can still actually sack the quarterback. Like, I don't want to be in the sack animation and have the quarterback still throw the ball away. I also don't want it to always be a fumble, so it's going to be a really difficult place to find that balance with it, but ideally, no, it's good, it's fine. I like that. Deep passes under pressure. New to Madden 21 are under pressure throwing animations, which will allow the quarterback to speed up their throwing motion when feeling pressure. Which means that it's their fancy way of saying we're not going to speed up throwing animations just sometimes, which is okay. It's better than what we have, and they're dictated by what they call threat to impact prediction. If the quarterback thinks he's going to get hit by an oncoming defender before he releases the pass, he'll use an under pressure animation. And that's when the quarterback's throw under pressure rating will modify both power and accuracy of the pass. Hey, you know what I love about that? Throw under pressure will now mean something. Make ratings matter. Make ratings matter. So the way I would think about it in my little head here is that if someone has a throw under pressure rating of 90 and they have 90 throw power and 90 throw accuracy, then at that point when that triggers, their throw power would become more like 81 and their accuracy would be 81. So we're still going to pay attention to those thresholds and know that at a certain point you're going to want a really high throw under pressure rating for this, because a lot of times when you're rolling and you're trying to throw those deep passes, you do kind of get hit at times, and that's okay. So this is, again, sounds like we're making ratings matter. Good. We like that idea. QB branch outs. Again, this is essentially the throwing the ball. At any point. At any point. You don't have to wait for your 5 or 7 step drop. There's no more inaccurate quick pass, which is great. I love that. More control, more ability. If an NFL quarterback cuts his drop off and sees someone wide open, he can do it, and so can we now. So that's cool. I like that. Quick throw and accurate being turned off is also huge. It brings wheels back into stuff. It brings some of those motion routes back into stuff, which is good, which is going to be very, very good. I like that idea. So good. Quick throw and accurate was pretty dumb this year. Accuracy and power tuning, with improvements into passing. They did some tuning to improve under pressure and crossbody passing accuracy to bring balance for both. I don't know what this truly is going to mean, how that's going to come into play. We'll have to find out. We'll see. They've also added a new max distance power penalty, which will activate when targeting a receiver who's deeper than the quarterback's maximum passing distance. So for like Mahomes, maybe it's like 70 yards, right? This penalty decreases the strength of the pass when throwing deep passes on the run. So again, if you're on the run, sounds like you can't throw the ball as far. Fair or not, I don't know how it's going to come into play. We'll see. But again, they're making some of these changes where you couldn't just be rolling and just like tuck the ball behind your head and go 75 yards. I'm fine with that. In-game passing feedback text will be more accurate. I hope so. There's nothing more annoying than used to get an accurate pass. It says on the screen or dead eye, and it is nowhere near the receiver. So I would prefer not being lied to. So hopefully that is a thing. Handoff animation's been tuned so that all handoffs are the same speed going either direction, which does now add a lot of value to some lefty quarterbacks as well. Michael Vick actually gets a boost in value there, in my opinion. And a really big one here, pass interference and illegal contact. Okay, this is huge. I do this a lot, and I admit it. And as someone who does this a lot, I'm okay with this change. The reason I used to do this a lot and pass interfere with players downfield is because you didn't think you were going to be able to really guard them. There was going to be a zone over there, and with the zone drop improvements, that's better. So I'm okay with this. We'll see how it goes. There's going to be penalties for it. Again, cool. There actually was pass interference in the game. You had to hit stick someone though. So this may take some getting used to for people. It may take some getting used to. Now, it looks like it's only on users, right? It says will primarily be called on user-controlled defenders. I don't know how many other times you've sent a route downfield and like the defender is just running into them, like sort of glitched out a bit. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Again, that's fine. Catching responsiveness, again, a very good change, a very, very good change. Again, so what this means that you can sort of dictate where you want to go with the ball, right? Up, left, right, down, sort of giving us a little more control, more of a steer, essentially. What I want to make sure that this doesn't do is very similar to how the swerve is in Madden 20, where you would catch the ball and you would be able to sort of steer the defenders away. They were almost very magnetized. So if you went left, they went left instead of them running into you, right? You know what I mean? So we'll see how that works. Could be really good. If this works correctly, it means that passes to the flat are going to be good again. Again, I think passes to the flat are kind of a requirement for a good Madden. Call me crazy. I think that's true. And then we're going to get to one big thing here that a lot of people were talking about: player personnel packaging. So what that means is if you came out and if I came out in gun bunch, right, and I used 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 1 running back in there, it would now allow me to audible down to say gun a slot offset, which I like. So that's good. You can audible based on your personnel on offense, right? If you have 2 tight ends on the field, you can go to 2 tight end sets. It's cool. But what this is going to have a negative impact on other things, where people would now be able to get a receiver out in a certain spot audible and have that receiver go to tight end. You can't do that anymore. So I don't know if everyone's thinking about that when they're like, oh, this is great. I think this is a great idea. I think this is a phenomenal idea, but I think it's going to hurt a lot of people too. We'll see. There's going to be very good ways to do it. It makes, in my opinion, instantly makes New England feel pretty good. Pretty good. Because now if saying split close, instead of having a running back on the left and a running back on the right, you've got 1 running back and a tight end, and now you've got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and then you can audible up to ace twins. Like, oh, now that is a thing. A lot of people try to talk about going into heavy running formation, or like a heavy passing formation into a heavy running formation. Taking gun bunch, again, use 2 tight ends, and then go into, say, single back wing flex close. But part of the reason those formations are really good passing is because you have the receivers in the right spot. Tight ends normally not the most adept at doing a lot of things in the game. Not a lot of depth at the tight end position generally. So it's more, I think it's more helpful in that split close to ace twins versus that gun bunch to heavy under center formation. We'll see how it plays out, but this is great. They said they want to do something like that on defense eventually as well. Yes, please. Oh my Lord, yes, please. How many times, like for me personally, I defend X formation well out of big nickel over G with the personnel setup I have, right? But then someone can audible to tight offset tight end, which I don't like defending very well out of that formation. Now I'm kind of screwed. I'm behind the whole play. So maybe then I could audible into, you know, a 2-3-6 or something like that, right? Something else. Be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how that's going to work. Balancing for repeated audibles and play flips and pre-play. So what they mean here is if people keep flipping the play and doing all that, there's a chance they're going to get a false start. Great idea. You don't need to take it out of the game, and that's such an EA thing, is to take things out of the game. Here they said we're going to leave it in, but you could get penalized for it. So cool. Good. Player fatigue for out of position ball carriers. Not a huge fan of this, because on jet sweeps and touch passes, a lot of times the idea is that it's going to go to the receiver, so he's the designated ball carrier essentially, and he's gonna get more tired because of it. I don't really agree with that. I don't agree with that. And this last part is very crucial. This changes a significant reduction to fumbles by scrambling quarterbacks in all game modes except all Madden competitive. So like tournaments, right? Weekend league means that however if players start to get more fatigued, likely a fumbling will naturally increase, of course. But that means you can run with your quarterback a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Everyone getting that free Lamar Jackson? You're getting the free Lamar? I am. Kicking game tuning. Kicking was indeed way too easy this year. So they've made it a little more skill-based. Cool. Kick power and wind impact has been tuned on simulation style. I don't really play a lot of sims, so it's hard for me to speak to that, how the impact is there. And they're doing what they can to remove the scum kick. Again, which I think shouldn't be in the game. They've struggled with it. Making the ball skid more on impact on the ground on kickoffs is, I guess that's a good way to do it. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But that's offense. We can get into the abilities, and I want to talk about abilities just more in depth anyway, in its own thing. So I'm not going to cover that here, right? Because I feel like at this point it would just be buried, and it's a really important topic. But that's the changes on offense. I like a lot of what they did. Some of the stuff is we don't know how good it's going to be, which is fine. It's totally fine. We'll play. We'll find out. We'll figure stuff out. I don't really like quarterbacks fumbling less. I don't really like my receiver when he's the designated ball carrier getting more tired. I don't like that. But flipping the play was annoying. This is going to help with that. Being able to audible properly based on your personnel package is a gigantically good change. It really, really is. The catching responsiveness could be a great feature. And then some of this quarterback stuff is also good. We'll see how the quarterback stuff works, because we don't know. The quarterback releases, quarterback animations, quarterback fumbling is always a very sensitive, tricky subject. If you remember, I think it was Madden 19 in the beta. If your quarterback got hit, he fumbled behind the line every time, and they had to fix that. So we'll see where this lands. But it sounds good. The quarterback stuff sounds good. We'll see how it gets implemented. Can't really have an opinion on it because I see it going either way. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.